Hey guys, welcome to Podcast Fandom, the official podcast for ProjectFandom.com. I'm your host, Nina.
I'm Donald.
I'm Kaylee.
And we are back to discuss a brand new series. It is a new Netflix original series, a Korean drama by the name of Hellbound. This is replacing our family coverage of Squid Game. Prior to that, it was what did we do?
Zombie thing.
Oh yeah, Black Summer, right. It is only 6 episodes, which I love. Super excited about that. Because it, again, I feel like the story will be tighter. The writer knew where he wanted to go. He only needed 6 episodes. That's it. Quick in and out. Plus, we are binging it over the weekend like we did Squid Game to try to get make it so that the coming week is a little less stressful. So it's good that it's only 6 episodes. We're going to be talking about the first 2. And I don't think they're named, right?
No.
They don't have titles, right? Okay. So we're going to do as we typically do and start with our overall thoughts. And I'm going to start with you, Donnie.
I'm enjoying it. There is some of it I don't like. Think it was drawn out. Like the first episode I thought was fantastic. Then I felt like the second episode kind of like was too long. It was drawn out, and then it ended on the way it ended. But I felt like they drew out that whole thing with that lady and her kids. Yeah. I just felt like they could have tightened that up, and they didn't have to make that one whole episode. But I do I have theories and stuff, and I find it an interesting concept. Yeah.
Okay, Kaylee.
I like it.
That's it? You just like it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's only the first 2 episodes. I gotta see more to decide if I really, really like it. But I'm enjoying it, and I will definitely watch more. And I'm curious to see where some of these characters' morals go, especially the main character's daughter.
Oh,
well, you already saw where they fucking go.
Yeah, but I mean, will she go guilty or no?
No, she was fucking smiled and happy tears.
That's my girl. I like her.
Oh my goodness. I like it too. And I kind of see what you were saying, Donnie, because I do feel like there was one scene in the second episode where I was like, how many scenes are we going to get with them just walking and talking?
Right.
Like walking through the streets, exchanging these cryptic exchanges. But overall, I still really liked it. And I knew where the second episode was going to end, but I was still pissed that they ended it there anyway. I got it. I was like, yeah, I would end it here too to make sure people come back. But it still sucked because I knew we had to stop because of the podcast. So, all right. So, and I want to mention, hold on, because I want to make sure I have his name. Song Ho-yeon is the director of this, and he directed Train to Busan. And he's also the writer, by the way, a co-writer though. Okay, so let me pull up my notes. So the opening scene is basically the trailer, right?
Right. Then this was the only trailer I ever watched. So I was like, okay, I like this. That they're getting this shit. All I've seen is the very opening of this fucking show.
Yeah, so you haven't seen too much. There was another trailer after that I think had more stuff, but if you didn't see that, yeah. So that's always good, right? It's oh, okay. But what did I keep saying, Kaylee?
That entire sequence of that man getting chased in the beginning of that first episode, you're like, they didn't show this in the trailer. They didn't show this in the trailer.
I can't show the whole fucking sequence.
I know, but it was okay. I'm going to be honest. It was way more comical. When I saw the trailer, and I showed it to you guys, and I was like, I definitely want to podcast it. It looked scary, but almost like Marvel movie scary. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was very
the Avengers.
Very,
so
very Hulk ish.
But that's what I mean. I mean
right.
the tone, right? It's
Right.
like the Avengers. Like you don't
Right.
really that and I mean that first Avengers movie. They have that kind of vibe to it. So I wasn't but then when they showed all of this, I was like, "Oh, this is gory and like scary." Like you know? And so I just wasn't prepared. It made me realize that the tone of the show was completely different than what I had thought it was going to be. Which is fine because I still like it. But yeah, so it's just basically this guy sitting in the coffee shop. And I do like that they got some exposition in there in an interesting way because it looks like college students
watching the YouTube videos. And
talking about this thing that happens, right? That
like,
this angel
this
comes
cult.
to you,
Yeah.
right? And so as
they're
that's
like, he's like, yeah, this is fake and
CGI.
This shit just pops up there.
And then it happens, and they chase him down, and later they describe it as a demonstration of. Wait, how'd they pull it? A demonstration of the pain of hell. So it's not just that they come and take you to hell. They beat you down so that others can see if you don't live right. And so that's what they do. They beat the shit out of him. And then the detective in charge of we meet Detective Kyung-hun, I think is his name. Kyung-hun, yeah. And he's going through some shit because apparently his wife was murdered 6 years ago. His wife was murdered 6 years ago, and the man who did it only served 6 years.
And he didn't even go to prison. He went to a mental.
Oh, right. And so he's sent to, after this happens to this man, and people got it like on video and everything. He's sent to interview the New Truth is the name of this church.
They all got assignments based off of what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a couple just go up to the scene.
Right. Oh, yeah, he goes up to the scene, and then it leads to...
Right.
Yeah. And his daughter is there. Right. Because they had like a thing set up, right? Like they had a screen and all of that.
Yeah, they had like this whole meeting set up.
And I said to Kayla, I was like, you got to get a permit for that. How do you just show up at the scene of a crime? But he finds his daughter over there and he sends her home. The detective's daughter. Her name is Hee-jung. Yes. And the man in charge of, or the leader of this New Truth is, where did I have his name? Jung Jin-soo. So for some reason, he's like, yeah, okay, I'll answer your questions. But like they are going home with him. So they like get on the train. They're having this long conversation. And basically he says that he grew up in an orphanage, and then and all he thought about was like killing himself, and he was going to do it at the age of 20 when they release you from.
And they're like,
orphanage.
Why 20? And he's like, that's when you can leave the orphanage.
Mm-hmm. And he goes to Tibet.
Yep.
And he sees those things taking the soul
of somebody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust this fucker.
Of course not.
I like him.
What's wrong with you?
He's like, I just find it weird that he's the one that kind of introduces this. Nobody's ever heard of this shit until he talks about it, and then all of a sudden this shit starts appearing.
Right.
Like for years and all that stuff. It's like he did something to make these fucking things start appearing.
Kaylee just think he's cute.
He is, but I also like his character.
Okay. And we learned that there is like a kind of radical following of the New Truth called the Arrowhead, and they're just violent and crazy. And then a woman named Park Jun-ja comes home to her children. It's her birthday. They have this beautiful cake for her. Do you think they baked that cake?
The kids? No.
They presented it like they did. It was lovely. It's her birthday, but then that angel of death appears and tells her that she's going to die in 5 days at 3 p.m.
Let's say you know fucking angel. Like the way they said it.
Yeah, that's true.
An angel appears to you, and then the demons come. It's like, what makes you think this is an angel? This is another demon.
We see the head, the leader of the Arrowhead. He has like this YouTube channel, where
I can't. Well, no, you're not talking about the guy yet. The fucking fluorescent light guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, the guy with the makeup and all that.
Yeah,
The wig. Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand this guy. He knows the fuck up.
And we see his followers have kidnapped a man, and accused him. I don't remember what his sins were, but they were beating the shit out of him and recording it and broadcasting it. And like they're later arrested, aren't they?
I don't remember.
Yeah, they are, because that's why the police station later gets attacked, because they're like, let our people go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they don't care. And then, because they're like, in the broadcast, they're talking about the guy who we see his soul is taken in the beginning, and what's his name? Oh crap, I can't read my own handwriting. All right, I'll come back to that. But they're like, what did he do? Like, we still don't know.
And they keep saying that, and they said it about the lady too. It's like, what did you do that you're going to go to hell? And they still haven't said what these two people.
It's implied that she has two different baby daddies, because of that, she's like, what? No.
Well, that's what the guy on the internet, the YouTube channel, is like. He's like, when he goes through, he's like, oh, what did she do? She's got two kids by two different guys, and nobody knows who they are. Or did she kill them? And he goes on with
but that's just an example of how it gets distorted. But to begin with, the Jinsu guy, he's like, under what circumstances would a woman have two children by two different men and neither of them are in the picture? And he's like, could they be married? So it's implied that she had two affairs with married men. But then later we see, once the internet gets a hold of her identity, which I know we're jumping ahead, they get a hold of her identity because of, oh my God, what's that cop's name?
Impule.
Yes. You see, once they get a hold of her identity, then they're able to find pictures of her and her kids online and imply things. Like, there was like a photo, like the boy had like a scratch on his arm or something.
It was a bruise on his arm.
Yeah.
And
they were like,
oh, child abuse.
And then finally that woman, the mother, Junja, she comes in to the police station and she says that the New Truth want to broadcast what happens to her, and they're going to give her 5 billion won.
Yep.
I thought it was 3 billion.
3 billion, yeah. How do you remember that?
I don't know. Numbers stick out to me.
And then we meet the lawyer who represents people harmed by the Arrowhead. And her name is Heijin. Her mother has cancer. She catches her mother smoking. Did you forget you have cancer? You said you quit. And she was like, I did quit when I wasn't sick. No, I'm sick. Leave me alone. Oh, and then we already talked about this, but they have that meeting where, because Heijin is the woman's lawyer, and she's making it clear that if nothing happens, because she doesn't believe, even though there are videos of this, happening to people,
I felt like she I got that she believed a little, but the guy lawyer didn't believe at all. Like he was the one like let her do it. If worse comes to worse, her kids at least have the money.
Right, and that's why they were just like making sure that was part of it. Like even if nothing happens, she still gets money. And he was like, if nothing happens, do we get a discount? But then it's revealed that who she is and the time and all that stuff, what's going to happen to her. And it's revealed because of the cop, which I had missed the little smirk on his face.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I played the scene back, it didn't quite look like a smirk to me, but it just focused too much on him when they were walking, and I'm like, there's something up with him. And then, like, the next scene was him getting out the shower and hopping on his little computer and acting like a weirdo. And it just freaked me out.
He starts chanting and shit. Yeah, he leaked her name and address.
Do you think he was like that from the beginning, or was he like kind of persuaded by those kids? Because remember, he was there when they were interrogating those kids.
I think that they're all these people just been part of this cult. Like as big as it is, and then you see at the end of episode 2, like they got all these high powerful people in there that are in masks. Like, and even the guy says like, because he asked about money, and he's like, oh, we've got like, there's so many people in this thing.
He's like, no wonder. Now we know where the 3 billion won comes from.
And that's what made we'll get there, but that scene in the airport, we
said the same thing.
Every time somebody looked at them, you're like, oh shit, are they part of it? Are they telling so and so where they're at? And
we said the same thing when the flight attendant took the little girl to the bathroom. I was like, oh my god, you don't know. Yeah, you don't.
You can't trust anybody.
What do you think they would do to the kids, though?
I don't know. That's what I was still curious why they were so in a rush to get the kids out of the way.
Because I feel like because people are crazy, and especially if they're like saying that she sinned, and because of whatever they think her sin is, which they believe it's these affairs that made these children. If it's so bad that these things are going to come and get her to pull her to hell, what's to say that they don't think that, the kids are like evil or, you know what I mean? Or demon spawn and try to kill the kid. So I think it's just that they don't know. So I was just like, she was like, send them to Canada. I was like, wow, that's extreme.
Right. Like, don't
I would have been like, send them down to Busan or... He was like, nope.
They need to get across the ocean, but don't put them in America.
Right, that too. It was like, we wanted to go to school without being shot. Send them somewhere else. So yeah, he leaks that information. And then we see the daughter, Heejin, meeting with Jingsu. Mm-hmm. And she says it's her fault the mother died because the day it happened, she was supposed to drop off something to the dad at work. Yeah. And she got distracted and she came straight home instead. And then she was like, oh, I'll go do it. And the mom went instead. And so because of that and the flashback of, the father finding, coming to the crime scene, I'm assuming she was killed like on her way there and taken somewhere. Right? Like her body was found in because it looked like a really dirty apartment. When he came to the crime scene. So I feel like she got kidnapped maybe. So he promises her that they're going to make a new world soon, a world in which sin doesn't exist. But then they go and sin. So I'm confused.
Because he's the one responsible for all this shit.
And there was like a moment when they were watching the man who killed her mother. And he's like drunk and stumbling through the streets. There was like a moment when he was like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you're ready or something? I was like, maybe it's going to be something corny. Like she's going to go up to him and be like, I forgive you. You know what I mean? No, she had a taser. And then they have him tied up to a table. And then they chloroform him for what?
To put him to sleep, so he burns alive.
He would burn alive regardless. Why would you?
I know, but I guess you wouldn't fight when you throw him in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they had him tied down or anything. He was just laying on the table.
Yeah, okay.
But he made her put him in there so that she was part of the whole...
Mm-hmm.
She was the accomplice. And she's one fucking kidnapped him. Now, did you guys catch when the cops, when they're talking about the first scene, and they were looking for evidence, and they said there's no evidence of these beast things or demons or whatever.
Right.
But when they tested the corpse, they said it wasn't human.
Right. It was inorganic matter.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was very interesting.
So now, when they burned his body that way, and then they dumped it with his belongings to make it look like
the same thing, but they're were
gonna
able to
know.
ID this one.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to know that it was somebody doing that and, trying to make it look like that.
Yeah.
He's like, this wasn't you, was it? He was like, no, of course not. Oh my God. And Kaylee asked, do you think that Kaylee asked me if I thought the cop, that he's going to suspect his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no,
when this shit happened and he was next to his boss, I was like, my first thought was, shit, they're going to think it's him. Like,
yeah, I think Kaylee said that as well. That's why I like when he just came straight out and asked him. He was like, no. But like, I don't think the cops would, but I don't know about the dad. I don't know if he would. What do you think, Kaylee?
Well, I just thought it'd be interesting if he would, and it would kind of make sense because of the phone call they had where she lied and said she was staying at a friend's house, and then he said, which friend? And she's like, a friend you don't know. And I'm like, that's a weird thing to say. Like, if I said that to you guys, I don't think you would believe me.
Yeah.
You would ask questions.
Yeah. True. And then the Arrowhead attacks the police station. And I was like, oh, this could not happen in America. They would have gunned these kids down. And maybe rightfully so.
You're like, where are their guns?
Yeah, I was like, why are we not shooting these people? But I was like, oh, that's right. Or they just didn't feel like it.
Mm. They just didn't want to kill anyone.
They had the one guy, like he pinned down, he had this hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were in there to kill some cops. So, we talked about them rushing the kids off, right? That poor boy, he broke down on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was like, when do you think mommy will come to Canada?
Yeah.
And he knows, like, they're just not going to see her again. Like, he understands.
Yeah, because, like, the very last thing I think either the mother or the lawyer says to him, like, you're going to be the mother now, or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm. So, they make it, but then they're setting everything up. Those really weird rich people, they paid to have, like, front row seats to that. Mm-hmm. And, of course, masks, because they're cowards.
Mm-hmm. They'll probably get caught in the crossfire, because they're so close. Like, they probably won't die, but they'll, I don't know, they might get injured.
And so she sits in the chair, and then you hear that, no, oh my God, I'm going to be ill.
It was just once. One rumble.
Yeah.
But they did a whole countdown, and then it's like, it was like a few seconds where nothing happened, and all of a sudden you just hear the rumble, and then the fucking episode ends.
It made me shiver just now thinking about it. And I was like, please don't end, please don't end. And of course, that's where it ended. So, Hold on, let me
I
check.
think this motherfucker like Mason. If he, like my first thought was okay, he's doing this stuff with like the advanced technology, like he's creating this stuff, which could still be, or he made some kind of deal with an actual demon or something.
Right,
But
right.
I feel like he's behind all this stuff somehow.
I think it's the demon thing. It kind of reminds me of Midnight Mass.
Right.
I'm checking for feedback real quick. Oh, Nico. Okay, none yet. All right, so thank you guys for listening. We have a lot coming up. Kaylee and I are finishing Erased, and then we'll be diving into Goblin. Donnie and I are continuing Money Heist Season 3. We just finished Foundation. We're continuing on with Invasion. And in addition to Hellbound, this weekend, some other new stuff dropped that we're covering that we'll be recording for next week with John. And that includes Cowboy Bebop on Netflix and The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. So thank you for subscribing. We will see you next week to talk about episodes 3 and 4. If you are a time travel subscriber, that podcast is available now.